Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. Since the next few months are going to be filled with M15 drafting, we figured we would do our best to help you out. In this video, we'll go over the 3 best commons and uncommons in each color you should be looking out for in your draft packs. Warning, we're going to move pretty quickly, so pay attention. Disclaimer, we will not be talking about any rares in this set. It doesn't help anyone if I tell you that Hornet Queen is a bomb. We all know that. Also, this list won't include paragons because they're all decently playable. Finally, the pseudo multicolored cards like Dauntless River Marshal and Courage Chieftain are all amazing if you're in both colors. If you aren't, don't play them. If you are, they're stupid good, especially the Dauntless River Marshal. It's easier just to get that out of the way now. Let's do this. As always, we'll begin with white cards. Arguably the strongest white uncommon for drafting, Constricting Sliver is surprisingly effective even when you have no other slivers. Being a 3/3 is respectable, but removal matters a whole lot in this format, more now than usual. The sliver is expensive, but the ability is invaluable and necessary in this removal light set. Along this same train of thought, Devouring Light is also first pick worthy in certain situations. Being double white is unfortunate, but instant speed, convoke, and the fact that it's, removal makes it real strong. Just letting you know now, if a card in M15 removes something, it's probably playable. Spoiler alert. Geist of the Moors is the 3rd high tier choice. Again, double white is unfortunate, but a 3/1 flyer without an answer is a beat stick everyone should be afraid of. There's just too much power there to ignore. Moving on to white commons, the first one we'll focus on is Triplicate Spirits. I don't think it's as good in sealed as it is in draft, but that isn't saying much since it's pretty great wherever you put it. 3 creatures with flying, even if they're just 1/1s, are super powerful. You get immediate board presence, you can convoke them out, and even early game, if your opponent isn't pressuring you too much, this could be perfect to cast on turn 3 or 4 by tapping out all your creatures. Don't underestimate it. Next up is Raise the Alarm. The ability and cost are both fine, but it's the instant speed that makes me love this card. Having 2 1/1s with flash is a pretty good deal. They block really well and can net you some serious value if your opponent falls for the trap. It's a great card. The last white common we're looking at is Oresco Swiftclaw. It's hard not to talk about this card. 2 mana for a 3/1 is enough for me every time. You severely punish slow decks. Even against a strategy that isn't super late game, threatening 3 power on turn 2 forces a reaction. Maybe gets them to use a coveted removal spell they'd have rather saved. I can't see cutting this card in any white draft deck. We need to go faster. Okay, on to blue. It's hard not to start with Illusory Angel. Sure, it has a qualifier, but a 3 mana 4/4 flyer is just always good. Plus, you're probably splashing another color, and if you can't cast something blue, you gotta have, anything in your other color to get this angel out. Even an Ornithopter works, and the raw power is crazy. Jace's Ingenuity is first pick worthy in some cases. Instant speed, draw 3 can win games. It might be more powerful than the angel. The jury's still out. Either way, it's a bomb card. Blue has been really easy to figure out so far. The 3rd blue uncommon I'm looking at is Quickling. 2 mana for a 2/2 flash flying fairy. What's not to like? You do have to return another creature you control, but view this as a way to dodge a removal spell on basically anything you want to save. This isn't an aggro creature, it's a control creature. Remember that, it's awesome. As far as I'm concerned, commons are also pretty easy. Welkin Turn is the Vaporkin of the format, and that basically means it's amazing. 2 mana for a 2/1 flyer with a drawback you don't care about. Done. I've picked Vaporkin pretty highly before, I'll do it again. The next best blue common, again, super easy decision, is Peel from Reality. Cheap, instant speed, save your own creatures if you needed to, stalls your opponent, respectably versatile. It's a no-brainer. For the last blue common, this one's actually pretty tough, but my instincts say Nimbus of the Isles. 5 mana for a 3/3 flyer in a slow format is just fine for me. It's no air elemental, but let's be honest, that card is gross. This is the status quo for vanilla flyers, and I'm cool with that. On to black, there should be no surprise here. Stab Wound gets my vote for best black uncommon. It's not even close. It's removal, and even in the cases where it isn't removal, it hurts the opponent every turn. It's first pick territory easily. Keeping with the removal theme and how it's basically the best thing ever since there is none of it, Ulcerate is my 2nd black uncommon. The life loss is unfortunate, but I'll gladly pay it for this insanely cheap and instant speed removal. Seriously, removal is everything in this format. It's kinda nuts. The last black uncommon we'll mention is Gravedigger. The card's always been good. It provides an okay sized body, but brings with it an ability that gives you an inherent card advantage. Gravedigger is always playable in my book. The first black common we'll touch on has to be Flesh to Dust. Again, removal is king, and this is pretty straightforward. It is 5 mana, but it's instant speed, and the format is relatively slow overall. It's a great high priority common. Personally, after Flesh to Dust, we found the card quality takes a dramatic drop. The next best common for me is Sign in Blood. This won't be the same for everyone, but I value card advantage pretty highly. Double black is a pain, but the value is well worth it. When this card is good, it's phenomenal. Lastly, and I said this in our pre-release video, Shadowcloak Vampire is a beast. Paying 2 life to give it flying is just a good decision. A 5/4 flyer will win games. Done. It's overwhelmingly powerful and underrated. A lot of people will overlook this guy. Oh, geez. Red. Oh, this is going to be hard. I guarantee you someone will get super mad I missed something. Here goes. The first and easily best red uncommon for drafting has to be Cone of Flame. From all the reports I've gotten from the pre-release, Cone of Flame devastated players. It was basically a 5-mana wrath a lot of the time. In a format this starved of removal, Cone is a commodity you can't afford to pass up. You would need something amazing not to first pick this card. The next 2 uncommons are also pieces of removal. You should have expected that. Heat Ray and Stoke the Flames are both broken. Instant speed, great damage for the cost. One has an X value, the other has Convoke. These are 2 of the premier removal spells in M15 Limited. Look out for both of these, they're so strong. Red commons, this is also going to be hilariously easy. Lightning Strike is a common, and it's red, so that's the first one. If you're surprised by that, you clearly missed the point of this entire video. Next up is my favorite red card out of the set, Inferno Fist. I said it was going to be amazing, and I wasn't wrong. The value's insane. 2 mana for 2 power and the ability to shock. It's too much versatility not to play, plus, it's removal. The last red card we're going to spotlight is Generator Servant. If you played with this card this past weekend, you probably noticed how fast you could get anything out. The raw power on this is stupid, and it gives red something it never gets, acceleration. Pick these up in draft. They go with every strategy ever. Green commons and uncommons are a little more difficult than the other colors because the overall quality of the cards are pretty high. The best uncommon, possibly in the entire set behind maybe Cone of Flame, is Ancient Silverback. This is a card that forces you into green. You pick this over a lot of the rares in the set, even the playable ones. Because he can regenerate, that limits the removal that can be played against him even more, as if having removal wasn't hard enough. It's just easily the best green uncommon. Next up has to be Gather Courage. Mutagenic Growth was playable in both limited and constructed. While this isn't the same card, you can cast it for 0, which is so important for a combat trick. It's really the cost, flexibility, and instant speed that make this good. Draft this card, it'll be great every time. The last green uncommon is a toss-up between a few, but I have to go with my heart and say Restock. 5 mana is a bummer, and sorcery speed's no fun, but returning 2 cards from the yard will end up giving you so much card advantage, and more importantly, card quality. This is a game-changing card and just gives too much value not to talk about. Green commons are so strong. There was a lot to choose from, but personally I didn't find this all that difficult. I knew my favorite 3 commons the second I saw the full spoilers. We have to start with Elvish Mystic because 1 mana rampers are always relevant no matter what the limited format's like. If you watched our pre-release guide, then you already knew I had to talk about this green common. Netcaster Spider is a stupid card. Everything about it screams value. 3 mana for a 2/3 with reach is perfectly acceptable. Giving it an inherent pump ability against flyers is just downright rude. This is simply a full value creature. Siege Worm is a given due to a lack of removal, Convoke making his cost flexible, and Trample making him relevant against any kind of blocker. For something so massive, there's a lot of interaction with him. Plus, at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with a 5/5 Trampler. Remember, there's not that much removal. There are obviously other great cards for limited play in M15. I just chose what I consider to be the best 3 uncommons and commons of each color. Some are interchangeable, I get that. I just don't want to be here forever talking about the similarity and power level between Sign in Blood and Child of Night. Can make that argument in every single color. It was a headache having to do that while writing this. Anyways, what do you guys think? Did you find the draft guide helpful? Remember, the M15 release weekend is going to be full of drafts, so get ready to pull some foil planeswalkers. Unless you're me, then you'll be getting 18 Mercurial Pretenders, because that's my karma for playing Control all these years. It's the sacrifices. As always, remember to subscribe below for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge, thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.